Real estate doesn't just build wealth, it builds lives. Every broken property holds a promise, and every family deserves a home that reflects their worth. We go where others won't. We rebuild, we restore, home invest, believe in more.
Guys, welcome to our 99-acre property in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Most investors would get absolutely pulverized, burned, and not be able to do this deal. In fact, they told us not to, but we did it anyways, and I'm gonna show you in this video how we make massive profit on this property. So get this, we have two students in our community that brought this beautiful property from Atlanta, Georgia, East Ponce Village, to our attention. They basically wanted to share in the profits and the proceeds and the upside with us, but they didn't have the means to take it down. And most people shouldn't take a deal like this down by themselves. Why? Well, they're sitting at a 30% plus vacancy rate. That's just on the physical side. The economic side, it's even deeper than that. That means there's a whole bunch of vacant units. If you have 997 units, there's a whole bunch of vacancies. And if you don't know how to handle that and get it back on track, you can get in trouble really, really fast. That's where most investors run scared. That's where we, on the other hand, we've been doing this now since 2007. We take on projects like this because we know how to churn them. We've done over $250 million in asset churns like this because we know what to do. We know how to get in there, spruce it up, get it back in the spot that it's supposed to be and carry forward. They had a $71 million loan on it. They owed a lot of money to contractors. Let's call that $1.7 million. All in $73 million. There was a bid on this property before we stepped to the table for $80 million. We didn't buy it for $80 million. We bought it for 71. This is where expertise and precision come in. Most people would never understand how on earth did the $80 million buyer not get it? Why did you guys get it at this lower dollar amount? Here's where it counts. They looked at our track record. They knew that we could perform. So we had that at the table, number one. That's why a lot of students bring deals to us because they get that track record at the table. But then number two, what happens is that we looked at the investors that were already part of the deal and we said, how do we make sure that they're not being wiped out? How do we take them along the ride with us? You see, that $80 million offer that was on the table, they had no intention whatsoever of helping the investors that had already brought this deal to the spot that it's at right now. They had no intention. It was just going to be a pure equity wipe. They would have been pulverized, basically would have paid off debt and the broker fees. Instead, we stepped up and said, you know what? After we make enough profit to make our new investors happy, we're going to share in the proceeds with you. And so that brought us to the table. That made our $71 million offer better than the $80 million offer. And that's how this can work. And that's why you need expertise to be able to put together deals like this. We're gonna go walk this unit right now and see condition. We're gonna go walk 3 of them. Let's go and do a run through. Hurley's been running our contractors through and getting stuff done so that move-ins can happen. He has not missed a single move-in since he got his own team on the ground. So we just wanna check status, check quality, make sure everything's rolling the way it's supposed to.
This is what I'm walking into. Another issue I'm running into with these guys, they're painting the cabinets, but they're not putting these back. The other ones you'll be able to see. Then if you painted it and you charging us $550, you didn't get the back area.
And then how are they painting it when it's peeling?
Exactly. Nobody's checking it.
And then what about this?
Again, see this again, they're giving this stuff out, and this is what I would have to have my text addressed because nobody walked it, the vendors didn't tell us. So when I walk it, this is what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Just like with the slats, these should be white, but somebody painted them gold, I guess the prior resident, but if you did, if it had you walked it, you would have known, hey.
You got to build that back.
Yeah.
They ruined the carpet.
Right. So this is what I'm telling Jeffrey, we got to charge them back because we don't have to replace this carpet.
So a few different things are happening. Number one, the contractor that the property manager had hired did a horrendous job. There's overspray on everything. You can see they oversprayed the blinds, they oversprayed the carpet, like all kinds of, just malpractice as a contractor. And then number two, the tenant that moved out of this unit, they literally spray painted all of the blinds gold. And the person that did the move out inspection didn't notate that and didn't charge them back for it. So now we as owners have to eat that bullet. Like we're gonna have to put in brand new blinds because the tenant decided to do that and we didn't catch it before moving them out, and we could have clipped their security deposit, but unfortunately the property manager didn't walk the unit to catch that prior to. So we're finding all kinds of broken processes. The light fixture over there is uninstalled right now, and they didn't include that in the scope of work for the contractor. So we're gonna have to address with the property manager, they're not allowed to hire any more contractors. It's all gonna go through our team, because our team, Hurley, he knows what he's doing, he knows the scope of work, he knows how to hold guys accountable. This firing from the hip and just letting contractors run their own scope doesn't work, never works out well. All right, just got done with that walkthrough, and the contractor is saying that they're done. They're looking for payment, and there's still a lot of stuff to do. And this just kind of goes to show you, you can't just hire anybody. This is not easy, okay? When people come in and they think like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have the contractor go do their thing, that's what a professional property manager just did. A professional property manager hired a contractor somewhat blindly and let them come in and do the turnover, and then what'd we find? The flooring's all messed up. The contractor oversprayed onto the flooring. The tenant that was there previously, they painted the blinds gold, and they forgot to get that on the move out inspection. And so it's so important that when you're getting into stuff like this, you need to be able to look at stuff with a level of perfection, a level of detail. Even on an older asset like this, you got to have that eye walking through, and you got to know how to write the scope of work so that the contractor can't burn you. This contractor now, because the property manager didn't keep a tight rope on this whole situation, this contractor is probably going to stand his ground and say, no, I did what I was supposed to, pay me. And unfortunately, the property manager, because they weren't here to write the scope, because they didn't know what they were doing, they didn't know how to write a professional scope of work, unfortunately, that's going to be eaten by the owner in that one. Make sure you've got somebody on your side to do this stuff with. Like, that's the reason that Chris and I do what we do. We have a lot of students that will come to us with deals like this, rather than getting ran over by a contractor or getting ran over by a professional property manager who didn't know how to allocate the scope of work right. We come alongside them, we help them. And so we'll get this thing turned around. We'll have this back on the right track by writing the proper scope of work and doing things the right way going forward. So we're walking up on eviction notice. That's what this notice is when they're taped to the front door. When we came into this property, literally they hadn't paid the eviction attorney in a long time. So a lot of people that were behind on their rent, they just never paid their rent. And then now we've paid eviction attorneys and the evictions are being filed. We're taking out people that are no longer paying. We're given a chance, of course. We're letting everybody have a fresh start chance where they can come in and do some kind of payment plan and structure, and we'll reduce. But anyone that's not adhering to that, then they get one of these. And then the next step is that the sheriff comes at the end of this grace period, and the sheriff comes and physically removes them. And unfortunately, that's part of the business. You have to be willing to defend your asset. I have a lot of really, really good tenants in this property that they want us to keep making improvements. They want us to keep making the place beautiful. And if you got someone that's not on that bandwagon, they have to go. These used to be dumpster sites, and what happened is that they upgraded to a valet trash, and the valet trash comes door to door to pick up the trash. But when you leave the dumpster site, it just encourages people to dump, even though there's no dumpster there. But anyways, we got to make all these go away. So I'm going to make a note for myself to make the rest of these wood pillars go away. No more dumping sites. Literally, like someone came here and just tossed a window of some kind. It shattered everywhere. There's kids' clothing, there's hangers, there's like, this is the profile that we're dealing with here. And now I'm not going to say that it was absolutely one of our tenants, but it could have been. The gates, unfortunately, have been left open for so long that the neighbors treat this as their dumping ground. But this is what we have to deal with. We have to solve for this. So we're making all these little spots go away so that we can't have dumping grounds. We have cameras everywhere. And the last step is the gates are closing in on this so that we don't get any more junk like this on our campus. So literally what we've got here is gates that have been freshly repaired, but we didn't do it the rookie way. You see, sometimes people would just come in and they'd hire a guy to do some welding, maybe they replace the motor, and then they're out. But what happens a week later when someone rams it again and breaks it? Then it sits dead for a year. We fix that. We got a company that literally we do a service contract with. And so what they literally do is they take care of the brakes. They've got a camera up on the pole. They watch it all the time. If somebody breaks that gate, they got their license plate number, they can pinch them, and then they come on site and they fix it immediately so that we're not down with gate issues. So this is huge for us. Now, you're gonna see a car pull up in just a second and the gate will open and all that kind of stuff, but We're doing a soft opening today. I should say soft closing today, really. What that means is that instead of just forcing it down the tenants' throats, because they're used to the gates being wide open. So you can imagine they get home from work and all of a sudden the gates are closed. Even though they got an email and they got a text from us, if they didn't read those, they're going to be shocked. So instead what we've done is a soft closing, meaning literally we've got somebody on staff from the gate company that's watching the gates. And if the tenant can't figure out how to punch on the code and use the app on their phone to open it up, then there's somebody inside watching it the whole time and they're manually opening it. So we'll run this soft play for about 3 weeks or so while someone's watching them at all times. Each week we level up a little bit. This week it's closed gates on the front. Next week we close the back. The week after that we actually put an arm in front of the gate as well. So it'll be double gated entry as well. And then eventually this entire 99-acre campus will have these gates like this. This is not something that you just roll out of bed and say, yeah, I'm gonna turn on the gates. That's why you need help on properties like this. You need experts, you need people that can actually guide you. It's part of the reason why Chris and I do this whole thing with our students. We wanna show them the right way to do this. So now we have a successful rollout of the gates. We've got tenants that are gonna be happy about it. They'll appreciate it. So that's the way to do it the right way. So I don't want anyone thinking that this property is like all sunshine and rainbows and this is easy to do, because it's not. We are dealing with literally there's a trash man that's leaving right now as I'm taking this clip, and he's looking for more trash to pick up. He doesn't pick up all the trash, he just picks up the good stuff that he can go and recycle. And there's people like that driving through our parking lot because they know that this is a dumping ground. All the neighbors on the weekends, when they know that the staff isn't here, they drive over, they drop off their old mattresses, their old couches, they dump it everywhere, broken glass, shattered stuff. Like, it just, this stuff's got to get cleaned up really, really fast. In addition to that, here's what we walked into. The maintenance team literally were out of supplies. This is a 997 unit apartment complex. They were decimated on supplies. They didn't have simple things like a stove burner. They didn't have things like a cord or a dehumidifier for water leaks. Little simple things. They didn't have any of that. They were behind because they hadn't paid any of their vendors. They didn't even pay Home Depot. They didn't pay HD Supply, some major folks that can ship stuff really fast. They didn't have any of that stuff. The appliances on site, they started getting cannibalized. What that means is that if a maintenance person, because they could not go get it from the supply room, they couldn't get a burner for a stove or whatever they needed, they would go find a vacant apartment and they would rip the burner off the vacant apartment to come and get it inside of an occupied unit. I mean, they were resourceful, but what that creates is that now we walk in thinking that we can start moving tenants in, but the appliances are in shambles. It's not just the burners though. We're talking AC units where they took out the coil or the line set, furnaces where they would take out the blower motor from it. Like, everything got cannibalized on this property. In addition to that, underground leaks. Literally, we've had to have a plumber coming in and digging up into the parking lot to patch some of these leaks that were underground. And some of the leaks, they weren't new. They had been around for a year, literally carving a small river under the ground. These trees, by the way, they love when that happens because their roots latch onto the leak and the tree keeps growing really, really big. In addition to that, the vehicles, the golf carts, literally the golf carts for the maintenance guys to get around a 97-acre campus like this to service almost 1,000 units, your maintenance people have to have some wheels. And they didn't pay the golf cart vendor. They didn't change the batteries on these things. They didn't put new tires on them. They just wore them right to the threads. The maintenance shop truck, bald tires, no oil changes in 3 years. Literally, like the simplest little things. They didn't pay the insurance. They didn't renew the little sticker on the license plate. There's no rainbows and sunshine on a property like this. The security system, the gates is part of it. The gates, they were open for years. We figured out how to get them closed now, and we figured out the right vendor partnership and all that kind of stuff, but the security system was lacking. Now we've got security cameras everywhere. We're watching every single corner. We're getting this property buttoned down the way that it's supposed to be buttoned down so that tenants can feel safe again. And then last but not least, the maintenance staff, they were severely depleted. And the reason is because the previous administration, the previous ownership group, they literally were not paying people. Imagine a maintenance person showing up for work every single day, having to feel like they're lying to the plumbing company or they're lying to the supplier that supplies the appliances because they can't pay them. They have no idea if they're ever gonna pay them. So we had to come in and right that ship. We had to pay the vendors, we had to pay the maintenance staff, and then we had to rebuild the maintenance staff because the maintenance staff, they were literally quitting one after another. So no rainbows and sunshine walking into it, but now is when we turn the corner. We take all these problems, all these opportunities, and we fix them. That's where we make our profit on the deal. Now that we've addressed all of the issues, let's talk about how we're gonna pay for all of this, because to date, we've already sent in over $872,000 in wires. There's another 150 grand wire that's pending, and this is all pre-closing. Yes, I said that. How on earth? Who would take that kind of risk? Well, here's the deal. In a falling knife scenario, when a property's falling, I wanna equate this to a kitchen knife. Imagine a kitchen knife that you drop and it's about to go down and hit the floor. When is the right time to grab it? How do you grab it? Let's define that right now. On a property that's falling, it can be dangerous to reach in and grab it at the wrong spot because you could cut yourself. But if you put on a steel glove, you know, those braided kind, and then you reach down and grab it at the right spot, you'll catch it no problem and you can lift it back up to the counter and carry on with life. We had to make a strategic decision on this one of where to grab it. We knew we were entering prime leasing season. We didn't want to let the occupancy fall anymore. We didn't want to let the rehabs, the renovations, the turnovers wait any longer. So we made a strategic decision to come in and actually start to do some of the churns and turn around the culture of the building before closing. That's right. That way there, we knew right from the moment that we took the reins of this property all the way through the day of closing to the day of the finish line, we knew it would be safe to bring in investment capital. So we bring in our capital first, literally our dollars, to take care and secure the basis. And now we're marching this thing to a spot that it's safe for investors to come alongside of us on the journey. So $872,000 wired in so far just to stabilize things. Another couple $100,000 coming right behind it. We'll probably be into it for about $1.5 to $2 million pre-closing to make sure everything's stabilized on the day of closing. There's a lot on the line here, a lot. In addition to that, on the day of closing, we assume the loan, that's a $71 million loan. We assume some other things, closing costs and whatnot. Let's call that $73 million. There's a lot. Also, our reputation is on the line. You see, we put up our capital first, but we also bring in investor capital. To our investors, we always deliver. And so we're not gonna let anybody down on this one. If we didn't deliver, if we let this thing go backwards, if something backfired on us, our reputation would be annihilated. So there's no way that we're gonna let that happen. In addition, when you go and take over a loan, you have to sign for it. You got to sign saying, yes, if there's any bad boy provisions, anything that goes wrong and you didn't fully disclose it, you could be held liable for that. And of course, we don't want to have any kind of failure on our record with our investors or the bank. So there's a lot at stake. There's a lot of pressure riding on the success of this. Thank God we're coming off the tails of another success that we just got done doing. Our team is well trained, we know what to do, and so we come in and we just hit it hard and we carry this into the finish line, but there's real risk in the middle. That's why the average person can't pull off a deal like this. So guys, as a new investor, I would never ever encourage anyone to do anything like this project. There's just way too many elements of risk. But that's why you can also come alongside in the journey. That's why Chris and I have students that come in, because we can let them partner in a safe environment like this, and that's really what it's all about. Teach somebody how to do this while they're making money, while they're getting passive income building up, while they're getting their net worth built up, and then they can ride alongside of someone that's actually a true operator that knows how to deliver a project like this. For those that think that I just kind of come here, film a video and take off, that's totally wrong. Like, to take on this kind of project like this, we have to be here every single week. I'm flying in and out all the time. I've got more airline miles than I've ever had before doing this, because that's what it takes to actually make something beautiful. And just like the pool behind me, like they just got the pump installed in this thing. After hammering, it has to be done. They got the pump installed. Tomorrow, they're gonna scrub it out and we'll have this gorgeous pool. Then we're doing a big grand reopening ceremony of the pool for the season, and we're gonna do a barbecue and all that kind of stuff. But these things take time to actually make the gates function, the security system, to have tenants flowing and have a retention system. All of this stuff takes a lot of time, but soon, 9 months from today, you're gonna see this property shine. You're gonna see it returning back to its former glory. You're gonna see occupancy somewhere around the 90% mark. You're gonna see tenants that are thriving. You're gonna see leasing agents making more money than they've ever made before on this property. And it's all thanks to persistence. So projects like this, they're not kick up your feet kind of things. Projects like this, they're hands-on. I even got my jacket dirty, like literally pumping through units. I know I'm not painting the walls myself, but someone has to be here to lay eyes on it and give feedback. I'm literally communicating messages between the regional manager, property management company, and their maintenance people. Like, they don't talk all the time, they don't communicate, but I get in there in the weeds and I talk to every single team member on the ground. That way there I can get feedback and make this whole thing work. So the $1 million question is how do you actually make money off of a property like this? First and foremost, part of the property is consumed by debt. There's debt on the property already, $71 million to be exact. We step in and we take over that existing loan. In the commercial real estate world, oftentimes the loans that are in place, as long as you qualify for it, you can go to the bank and say, hey bank, I'd like to take over that loan. And that's what we've done here in this case. The second part of it, to fund all of the capital expenditure items, it's roughly 20 million between fees and carrying costs and things like that, we bring in. Ourselves put in a lot of that cash, we bring some investors along for the ride with us, and then that's what enables us to close on the property and then to improve it. So add your 71 million plus your 20 million, now you're at $91 million. Now, this thing appraised just a few years ago for $122 million. That's right, an actual appraisal value for $122 million. So there's a lot of room. Now, when we get back to that mark, which I'll get there in a second, when we get back to that mark, we're able to go to a bank and do a cash out refinance. What that means is that the bank will send an appraiser, and as long as it appraises up here, they'll give us a percentage of that money back. Usually it's between 70 and 80% of that dollar amount. So if it appraises for $122 million, all of the money that we have invested, plus the bank loan, that would literally get cashed out. A new loan would come on the property, and we and our investors would get our cash back. They call these infinite deals. Sometimes people call them a BRRRR deal. You buy, renovate, rent, and refinance. Imagine being able to get into a deal like this where you put money in short term, within a couple of years you get that money back, and then you get to still own that asset forever. You've got all your cash back and you still own it forever. Now, let's talk about the cash flow for a second. Today, as it sits, for right when we got in here, the property's bringing in roughly about $600,000 per month. That's in a severely economically distressed property, meaning most of the tenants nowadays in this particular building, or in these buildings, they're not paying what they're supposed to pay in rents. And consequently, we're going through and cleaning house. We're taking out some of the folks that aren't supposed to be here. We're sprucing up units. We're bringing in good people. We're gonna bring that $600,000 mark up to 1.2 million over time. Yes, there's work in front of us. Yes, we have to do these churns, things like that. But when we go from 600 to 1.2 million, that more than pays for the debt, the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance, the staff members, all that kind of stuff, and leaves a very healthy margin each month for us and for our investors. So that's how we make money on properties like this. Hey guys, we just wrapped up. We accomplished so much, like we've covered so much ground. This is a big campus with a lot of things going on. I hope you learned some good nuggets. Hey, I hope you've also seen that anybody can do this. You can get into multifamily, you can make this happen. But on properties, especially of this magnitude or the magnitude bigger than your bank account, make sure you take the right partner. This particular property was brought to us by a student who we get to love on and serve to help them navigate the waters of a property like this. If you want to learn more on how we do that with students, how you could potentially partner with us on a deal where we might be able to bring the capital to the deal, we can coach you through the whole thing, start to finish, literally grab you by the hand, make sure you don't do something wrong on the numbers, make sure you get the right loan structure, and get you all the way to the finish line where there's profit and cash flow for life, then make sure you click on the Learn More button down below. We want you to go on a safe journey. We have a tagline here that's believe in more. And to us, it means more than just profit. It means more impact. What can we do in the world together? How many people can we help? So if you follow that, if believe in more means a lot to you as well, then make sure you click on Learn More, and we're happy to help you and guide you down this path.